What's going on, savvy investors? This is your friend, Steve VanCauwenbergh. You tuned in to What? The Savvy Radio Show. Yes, I'm still alive. Yes, I'm just like you. One thing you need to consider, the virus affects everybody and everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're at, what's happening. Life all around you is affected by other things. So no one is immune to life. But I'm out here in the trenches getting it done. And, you know, I've taken some time off and just thought about what am I going to say? What am I going to do with this podcast? Just podcasts in general. Am I empowering people? Am I helping people? Where is this going? Like, is this benefiting me? Is this benefiting other people? The cool thing is, through this circumstance, you really know how people act and how they perform and how they get over and how they deal with pressure and drama. And how are you tested? You know, is it making you stronger or are you buckling down? Sometimes you just have to accept what it is. Some people are just not going to pay their rent, okay, because they just take opportunities like this to just manipulate, you know. I saw a post the other day. It's crazy that, you know, they're giving out $1,200, you know, but, you know, we got a $1,000 iPhone and a $500 car payment. You know, I mean, it puts it in perspective. I mean, we're all in some form or fashion of in debt, and we all have our problems and we all have our weaknesses and addictions and just life in general. It's easy to isolate one thing. Now, it's really interesting to see people's opinion and how they receive what's going on. Now, you've got to not let that affect you, okay? I believe as a real estate investor right now, straight up, number one, focus, okay, is to make money. Right, is to make money, right? There's some business owners that I know that are dying, that they're buckling out and like they may go out of business. And it's just, I'm honored that people call me and ask for my advice or send me questions. And then I'm honored by some people that just have expectations. They expect that I should do something or be something that, you know, I'm just like you. I'm just human. I'm dealing with the same drama. I'm quarantined too. Okay. Like, I'm trapped up in this joint too. Did I have enough toilet paper too? Am I making as best as I can? Absolutely. I mean, you just got to put it in perspective. Let's look at a third world country. Okay. That there's an outhouse, that you have running water, that you have a neighbor. Okay. And it's interesting just listening to a meeting today about what are we going to do with the school system and children that don't have food, okay, or kids that don't have computers in their home. How are they going to get educated? And, you know, there's just so many things that affect one thing that affect another thing. And, you know, one customer doesn't pay or one, you know, the one thing is like, you got to think about this. You're never going to be the same after this circumstance. And how are you going to handle it? Is it going to make you stronger, better? So back to my first point. First of all, let me just a quick disclaimer, man. I'm nobody special. I'm just who I am. Okay. I'm just a regular Joe, just like you, out here trying to grind it out. I'm fortunate enough that I read a few books and I put it into action. Okay. Now, you may agree or disagree with what I'm about to say, and this is not scripted. I have not thought. I just been thinking, all right? And I've been thinking of doing a podcast for a while, and I wasn't motivated, and then I've been getting some questions, and I'm honored. And then I just text a couple people. I was like, yo, you know, I'm about to do a podcast. Is there anything you want me to cover? And so I just want to be upfront, like, this is not organized. I don't know what I'm about to say, so bear with me, okay? Number one, bear with me. Number two, I know some people have expectations of me. They expect me to jump over to take your call or I mean, I'm not somebody special, okay? But I do have a family that I'm trapped up with. I do have children. I do have a wife that I have to fulfill. And I do have responsibilities, and I have an empire of staff that wants to get paid, okay, from home, working or not working, rent is in or rent is not in, they still want to get paid, okay? So I have decisions that I have to make. I have things I have to do. But the one thing that pops in my mind, I think a lot of people don't really want to think. They just want to give up their hands and give up, or they just want to get on Facebook and say what they want to say. And, you know, somebody said this to me the other day that was like just nutty. I called this dude out of the blue. He was just on my mind. He's like, man, I really know who my friends are. Because when I'm on Facebook, they don't take this serious enough. And this dude works in the medical field, and he said this to me that really impacted me. He said that I'm putting my life in danger and my family's life in danger every time I go to the hospital. Every time this dude goes to the hospital, he's putting his life and his family, and he's got 2 young children. I mean, we're just jammed up complaining in a room that we have Netflix or internet. And he really puts it in perspective. He's like, I really see who my friends are. The people that are not taking this serious enough. Man, I was like, man, I'm glad I'm one of his friends because I'm taking this mess serious. I'm not dumb. Like, I had to go to a property the other day. I had a massive problem that I gotta take care of. Yes, I told the contractor 6 feet from me. Okay, the dude was like, "You want to ride together?" I was like, "You lost your mind, man. No, I'm not riding with nobody. I don't even have a mask. I don't have no gloves. I'm way behind on the game, but I'm gonna hedge forward. I'm gonna keep going until they snuff me out, till they cap me out. I'm gonna go all 100. And you, whoever's listening to this, you need to be 100. You need to get off Facebook, get down and do 50 push-ups, sit-ups, and get your body, your temple in the right space. So when this whole thing blows over, you'll just be healthy enough to go get every deal that comes in your way. And let me tell you something. Mark my words right now. I'm saying 3 to 6 months, they are deals. Yep, I gobbled the deal up over the weekend. I'm honored. It's interesting. But the deal is there will be more deals. A lot of wholesalers will be washed out. They'll just be washed out. They can't close. Their price, I can see it already. I'm getting like 4 or 5 emails a day right now of just deals. Random people email, "Did you see this deal?" I'm like, I replied back, "It's retail." Let me clarify what a wholesaler does and what is an investor. Here's the deal. A real good investor, like myself, and I'm not trying to be conceited or arrogant or whatever you may think, everybody's got to get paid. Okay? So if everybody, a wholesaler gets it under contract at a great deal, 50 cents, 40 cents on the dollar, and sells it to the investors, 60 if it needs repairs, 70%, and then they make money, the seller makes money, the contractor that has to fix the place, when you got to put, it's a $100,000 house and you're trying to wholesale it for 70, but you still needs 30. That's not wholesaling. You greedy folks out there, I hope you mad at because you greedy. Listen, just be thankful that you got $1,000 just to flip a contract. Yeah, there'll be some times. Yes, I'm honored. I made 50 G's on a deal. Yep. And there's some times where I lost money on a deal because I was a man of integrity and I should have lowballed the person a little bit tighter, but that's just what it is. Okay. But I wanted to close and I wanted to make it happy. And when I wholesaled that deal, I didn't make any money. It's just the nature of the beast. Now, if you'll become a better investor over time, a better wholesaler, but you've got to leave margin on the table for everybody in the transaction, or take the deal yourself. And don't be complaining about this law in Oklahoma too. Oh man, you got to be licensed. What? Hey, step up your game and get a license. I mean, I know I just lost about half my friends. Wholesalers, you're not my friend anyway because you're not even calling me. You don't even give me no deal, so I don't even know how we're friends. But I notice you call me when you need help. I notice you be texting me, "Oh, what should we do? How do I get money?" Like, dude, where you been? Like, I talk about this all the time on Facebook. Like, I'm teaching classes. Are you in a class? No. What you doing is doing these deals and not sharing and selling them to people that are overpaying because they're uneducated and they're overpaying. And then 3 years from now, 6 months from now, 5 years from now, they're going to get stung and they're going to get crumpled, but they got a deal from a wholesaler. See, that's not how the machine works. Everybody should get paid. Everybody should be working together in unison. If you're mad about some law, there is a reason why that law is coming into place. There's a lot of low-level people that are hurting people by getting things under contract and then renegotiating and then leaving people at the closing table with no money. Because you, wholesaler, don't know how to calculate and you don't have relationships with investors that need deals like I do. Because it doesn't matter. I don't even want to tell you about me personally. I have people that are in my life that I have to provide for that need deals. So the next time you ask somebody for help or a question, how are you contributing to them? How are you helping them? How long you been in the business? And what have you done for that person? Think about it. Think about all the transactions that you've done. Now, I don't even know how in the world that I got on this wholesaler drama. Anyway, I feel like I need to record this, but I'm going to keep on rolling because you're going to hate me anyway. I found out, I told you I'm polarizing. Some people won't like me. Some people won't. Listen, man, I'm just trying to speak the truth. I'm not trying to be nobody else. I'm just trying to look. Some people need to hear the truth, and you're not going to like me because of the truth. I'm sorry. But that's just what it is. This is the time you do not leave your house. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you want to go play golf. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you want to go to get your hair done. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you want to go to the gym. I'm sorry. Okay? Go down and do some push-ups and sit-ups. Run around the block. Figure it out. But there is an epidemic that's going on, and people are being affected, especially the people on the front lines. You need to respect that. You only got to hang out for 14 days or so. Now, let me get back to the podcast. I'm sorry. I apologize. Back to the podcast. Now, listen. The number one thing you need to be thinking about is how to make money. Yes. Even if you're broke, even if you lost it all, okay, it's possible. You've got to think about how can you make money right now on the side hustle. Okay, on the side hustle. You may be over leveraged with your houses. Some of you guys are, okay? Be ready and start thinking about how to make money on the side. Number one, eBay all of your junk and your stuff. The mail is still working. You can do this all from your house, okay? With the printer, even if you go down online right now on USPS, they'll send you free boxes. Okay. There's so much. I look at myself and I'm in my closet right now. I'm looking at all these things. Do I really need 5 ties, 10 ties? Can I put them on eBay? Now there's probably no margin there. Get rid of your stuff. Start stocking cash right now. Why? Because 3 to 6 months, there will be deals and you're going to need cash. 6 months to a year from now, there's going to be some problems and the government may have some more problems. So you need to be ready. You need cash now. Use VAs. VA your skills. VA people need jobs. You can broker, outsource, do all that stuff. You could teach people. You could teach people how to VA online. You can be a coach. You can be a teacher. You could be a tutor. Man, thousands of, a million kids or something are out of school now. Bam. I was like, Shanae, first of all, we just need to tutor people for free. Especially the whiz kids, the kids that don't have a computer in their house, okay, and their one grandmother is working and has no money. We need to probably as soon as it blows over, we probably need to pick her up or go to their house and tutor them. That's what we need to be doing. Start thinking about someone else, not yourself. That's the first thing. Think about someone else, not yourself. You can start a video business. You can go around and do 3D videos, not even like the 3D fancy ones. Just walk through a house. If this is something that you want to know and learn, I could help you with this. Every market and every city, every home needs a video. Bam. Millions of houses, every one of them need a video. How can you charge $100 to go out and shoot a video? And then if you learn on your VA skills, man, you can pop 2 or 3 videos a week. Can you live off of $400 or $500 a week? Can you do this? Yes. Start thinking about how to make money now. Lawn care. Think about service-based businesses, bodybuilding. Listen, they shut the gym down, so I didn't want to do this, but I hired a gym trainer, a bodybuilder dude, or whatever they call those people, workout trainer. Virtually, it's uncomfortable at first, man, but I like it now. I set my phone up, use Google Duo, and the dude's like, no, you're doing it wrong. Squat here. I want you to put 25 and 25 on there. I'm like, man, I don't never have to go to a gym again. I got a little mini gym in my crib. Some people do. Some people, you can just get some water bottle. You can get some gallons of water, milk, whatever. Clean. I'm telling you, that's the next industry. Clean. You can do a cleaning business. People don't have to be around. You can do a cleaning business. Handyman. I see a ton of workers out there. Now, I know you're supposed to be home right now, or they're changing the rules, and we're in Oklahoma, and the rules are a little bit different than New York. And so these approaches may not work. You can do this stuff. You can edit books for people, right? I have a friend that has a book coming out. You can edit his book right now for $100. He'll pay you $100 to read the book and give him my edits. There is ways to make money. You can be a handyman. You can even do. I'm proud of this one dude. He's broke, and he's like, I was talking to him. He was looking for work, and he went into DoorDash. Now I don't know about all that legalities and stuff, but the second thing you need to do is start working on your systems now, right now, while you got all this free time. Think about what you're doing. Think about the processes. Write your goals out. How do you have goals? Work on your dream board. Work on yourself. Do sit-ups. Do push-ups. Walk for 10 minutes. There is no excuses. You have the time right now. You're forced to stay at home. Start doing something that's going to increase your lifestyle. Take a course. I'm taking accounting courses like crazy. I put on Facebook that I'm going to do an accounting class for real estate investors. I've always struggled my whole life with accounting. And I'm like, I love math. I love numbers. I love ROIs. I love how to do that stuff. But I mean, do I really know accounting? Can I run an accounting operation? Yes, through education. So I've taken some courses on accounting. Can I do that? You can do that. Okay. Take some time to reflect. Reflect on your life. Write out all the things that you've done, all the things that you're going to do, where you've been, where you're going. Think about it. Reflect. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm severely blessed. People ask me, man, I'm like, people that call me, I'm like, man, I am beyond blessed. My heart breaks. I mean, I'm just honored to be where I'm at today in the struggle. I mean, people are paycheck to paycheck. It's a reality. You got to understand it's a reality. Don't put your head in the sand. Your neighbor is hurting. They need an encouraging word. They may need a letter of encouragement. Like you need to be writing letters to people, dropping mail. People are running to the mailbox. Do something that no one else is doing. Text people you don't know normally. I got a text from a dude that I have not talked to in forever. He's like, hey, how are you doing? How's your family? I mean, like, wow. I was pretty impressed with that. Can you do that? Absolutely. It takes 2 minutes. Get off of Netflix. You can also be grateful that you are alive, that you do not have this circumstance, this disease. I don't want to get into the technicalities of the virus, coronavirus, whatever, man. It's all hoo-boo, okay? It's just so much drama, and I take it serious, so I'm not trying to desensitize. It's the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, it's affected. It's affected in Oklahoma. There's actually someone I do know, okay? And it's gut-wrenching, and I can't imagine what this couple is going through. And I believe this too will pass. You should worship the Lord. If you don't know Jesus, I definitely think it's a good time for you to get to know him because when you have him, you have this peace. And I have this peace. Yeah, man, I know people are not going to pay their rent. I know people are going to hustle. I know I'm going to lose money. I know I'm going to get burned, but I keep on rolling. I keep on rolling. I have faith. And you got to exercise that faith. What faith do you have? All right, so there's the tangents. Now, I got some questions right here. Ways to go about accessing line of credit during these lean times. Well, first of all, I got to give it an A+ to my homeboy that sent this. You need to be thinking about this now. Now, you're a little late to the game, but that's okay. I can't stand it when people are like dogging everybody. Well, dude didn't say it. He didn't take this serious. I know, okay? You need to think, how can we, with the circumstances that we're in now, how can we get masks? How can we get beds? I know the dude didn't make the right decision and downplayed the situation. There's more to it than we know. But browbeating people, telling them that they're dumb, doesn't work. So, yeah, my first answer would be, yeah, ding dong, you should have probably worked this out before. Now, you can get lines of credit in this circumstances. Now, you can get lines of credit on your house. You can get on equity. I actually just closed. I'm about to close on a deal. I just got a house under contract. I called the bank before getting the house under contract, making sure that my financial position is in the position that's comfortable for the bank so we can move forward on this closing. That's the one thing you need to do. You need to call your banks and ask them. There is banks right now loaning on line of credit. This is a true story that I'm about to say. A friend of mine has a ton of stuff. He's in the middle of a $12 million refi. Okay. $12 million refi. Okay. Talk about nerve wracking when the world is ending. This dude's trying to make this happen. Now, the interesting thing, the bank was still willing to do it, but they wanted $1 million in liquidity in cash in a bank where they can access that or whatever. Okay, because that's one thing that you need to be prepared. If you're in the middle of loans or you're going to get a loan, little terms are going to change. Not little, things are going to change. You might have to collateralize a little bit more. Things are going to loosen up. Things are going to tighten up. It just depends on where you're at, and I might even cover that here in a minute. But things are going to change a little. So you got to be very prepared and flexible, and don't have your pants down. You got to understand things are going to change, not necessarily wrong or right, but you need to be prepared. So what this savvy investor did, I was like, bro, what'd you do? He's like, I called another bank and I asked them for $1 million in cash, but he said, hey, I'm not going to take out the $1 million in cash. This guy's got $40 million in assets, okay, but it's a $12 million refi. And he asked this other bank, can I get $1 million in cash and pledge these assets, but I'm not going to take out the cash. I'm going to leave it in the bank as a CD. I'm going to pay interest on it, and I'm going to collateralize on some of my assets. Is that cool? Yep, that bank said yes. We'll give you the $1 million in cash, earning 1%. Boom. As a CD, you got to do the refi, and then he has that liquidity for the $12 million refi. Okay, so there's creative ways to get lines of credit. The one thing is that you can maybe bulk up on a refi. Let's just say, and this is just an example. Let's just say, because this is for my homeboy here. Let's just say you have 10 houses, okay, and you add all those up. And of those 10 houses, you got $200,000 worth of equity. Well, you should have 300, okay, but because you should be at 70% position. I don't know his financials, but I'm just assuming. So let's just say you have $300,000 in equity spread over those 10 houses. You got 10 houses. You have a debt leverage of $700,000. You're 70%. You have $300,000 in equity, but it's spread across those houses. Like one house has $50,000, one house has $60,000, one house may have $10,000. Okay, what you can do is that you can go to a bank and refinance all those 9 in one place and then open up a line of credit on top of that for that equity that you have, or you can just refinance just 7 of those and pay off the 3 and then get a line of credit on those 3. Now, these are not complicated, but these are situations that cost you money because you're going to get fees and appraisals. But is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. You need to do your homework. You need to start hanging out with bankers, start talking to other investors. Who's loaning money right now, where and when and how much? You got to keep in mind, ladies and gents, that banks are going to loan money. They have to. That's how they breathe. That's how they eat. And the federal government knows this. That's how the federal government makes money, okay? Backed by mortgages. So you've got to understand how the system works. There may be some time delays. It's okay. You're going to make it work. And you can always go to private money, and there's unlimited private money. Even these uncertainties, it's happening. And it's the way you approach. I should do a podcast on how this dude talked to me the other day, but I'm going to let that one slide. Oh, it's just funny. But just the way... Listen, if you ever going to borrow money from anybody, okay, banks, whatever, be thankful, okay, because that person is making you wealthy, okay? You might want to send them some flowers. All right, great. Okay, the thing on my mind right now is, do I have enough reserves? This is another question. So this guy says, the thing on my mind right now is, do I have enough reserves to stay alive during this pandemic recession? I know I can borrow money and be okay, but that's a lot of investors' minds right now. Just a general, how does the virus affect real estate? Okay, so, well, first of all, you should always be packing cash all the time, okay? Now, you might, just to give you some grace here, this dude that wrote this, you probably never have enough reserves. But let's just, for fun, if you have 10 properties, you should probably have about $50,000, $20,000. Let's just make it conservative. You're supposed to, and I know this is written in several books, and so I just assume that people would know this, but just in case you don't, you should have at least 3 to 6 months of reserves, 6 months of the mortgage payment of that unit. So if you're making $600 a month on that unit and your payment's $400, so you do 400 times 6 is $2,400 in the bank on that one property. Okay, that's just one easy rule of thumb. Now, you you should be saving as much cash as possible and deploying it, writing it out, and then refinancing it. Deploy it. Can you refinance it? Deploy it, refinance it. So you should always try to keep your original cash in place. Now, if you're worried about money or you're worried about not having enough money on hand, first of all, you can't say this: I can borrow money and be okay. There's going to be a time where someone may not loan you money. You may be in a bad transition. You may be over leveraged. Your houses may not appraise. Now, they're appraising right now. I talked to an investor the other day in Ohio, and his houses came back way more than he thought. Okay, great. I'm glad. Now, he asked me, what should I do? I told him, I was like, bro, you should just still stick with the number that you wanted. I know they're going to ask you, do you want to borrow more? You're going to say, no, I'm a conservative investor, and these are the reasons why. So sometimes it can reverse on you when you're thinking that it's going to come in, appraise more, and you get less. You can't bet on being able to borrow. So you've got to work up a better plan. And so here's my plan for this guy. You should start JVing with other people, other investors that are double, triple bigger than your net worth, and have a relationship with them. That's what I do. I have relationships with people that are 5, 10 times bigger than me. If I need to call them and borrow money from them or partner on a deal with them, it's a no-brainer for them. I have 4 people that I have in my world that are bigger than me that I can call them. Now, I know one of them doesn't loan money, but I know that he will partner with me on JV if it makes sense to him. Now, it may not make sense to him at that time, but somebody else out of those 4 people, it may make sense to them at that time. So you've got to be prepared. You got to be active. Relationships with banks, relationships with other investors, and have a game plan and try to get to that number. A minimum of 3 months of payments, minimum. I would say 6. Have reserves. You need to you need to know the number. Don't be some puss out here. I don't know. If you got 10 houses and it's $500 a month per house, I'm just saying that's $50,000. Okay, so that's 10 houses. That's $5,000. $5,000 times 6 is $30,000. That's how much money you need to have in the bank. Now, when you get over to like maybe 50 units or 20 units, there's $50,000 in cash is a good number. $100,000 in cash. I mean, there's just, it just depends on what your equity is and what you're doing. But these are just basic rules of thumb. At least now. I'm glad that thank you, homeboy. I'm glad that you sent me this question. I think it's a good question. Hopefully I answered it properly. You need to start having some reserves for that. Now, and this other final question, it says, collecting rent was the biggest thing for me because I'm already getting calls, of course. Well. Welcome to the world of landlording. Hey, I think it's just business as usual. In my mind, I think that we need to have some grace, okay? I think that you need to work with some people. I heard an investor do this the other day. I thought it was a very genius idea. Now, he has 1,000 units, and he's like, I'm going to send a letter to every tenant. If you pay your rent on the 1st, I'm going to give you a $100 gift card to Walmart. I mean, that's pretty gnarly, pretty good idea. I don't know if he's done it. I thought it was a good idea. I think you need to be creative. I think you need to be communication with your tenants. I think you need to understand where they're coming from. I'm exposed and there's some of my customer clients, whatever, that owe me money, not only in loans, but tenants and whatnot. And so it is nerve wracking, but I think the answer is you should do business. You got to follow the law just like you do any other business. And you give them grace within where grace is needed. And you also treat them like you would treat everyone else and what you would have to do. Just like a normal tenant doesn't pay rent today, there's consequences for not paying your rent. And so I would just be sensitive. I don't know what the government's going to do. I know that me personally, I'm going to try to, be flexible with people. I'm going to keep track of the people that pay on time, and I'm going to keep track of the people that don't pay on time. And then, I'm going to lawyer up in some form or fashion if the law, and figure out what legalities that are legally mine. Because, Chase Manhattan Bank, they're not going to give me a pass. They may give us a pass, and if they give us a pass, then by all means, give your tenant some passes if it works out, if it makes sense. and it's compliance. So you as a real estate landlord, investor, professional, you've got to abide by the law, and you don't want to be affected, on the 9 o'clock news because you evicted somebody and you didn't follow the law. So I know that really didn't answer, but in my mind, it's like business as usual. I'm going to check with my local government. I'm going to issue a 5-day notice. I'm going to issue the 5-day notice, and I'm going to go through the process and do what I need to do, just like any other, like it's a job, like a business. You can't just give out free hamburgers all day. If you use electricity, you've heard me say this 100 times. I mean, there's only so much that I have. There's only so much I can do. Can I extend grace? Can I work with you? Absolutely. I want to work with you. I want you to be successful. Now you're going around buying a new iPhone 10 and you haven't paid your rent. Well, I can't judge you for that, right? I can't put that in a court of law. But if you're a tenant listening to this, I would pay my rent. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. If you don't have a job, I just listed, go back to the beginning of the podcast. These are tons of ways. You work with your landlord. Banks are going to work with landlords. I would believe they would. This is also a trying time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, where banks don't work sometimes with investors. There's been times I actually seen this in my own world, not actually on some property that I was involved in, where a predatory bank took the opportunity and took the portfolio down. It's happened, okay? And so this is where you need to have relationships are key. You need to have relationships with other investors. What would you do? How would you do it? And have relationship with bankers, not just with one banker. I learned that from my banking mentor. You got to have more than one banker in your life. And I don't know that's the most positive news that you've heard today, but I'm excited. Good things are going to happen, okay? There's going to be success around the corner. Hang tight. You can do this. It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for listening. SavvyInvestors.com.